Welcome to the first episode of Weird Kid Chronicles, where I discuss different parts of what made me a weird kid. Crummy. No! She's eating magnets! Today we're tackling a very important subject. Arguably the most important subject. What made me the weirdest of weird kids. Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, one thing you gotta know about Weird Kid Chronicles is that it's done without research, because what kind of weird kid am I if I don't keep random factoids about whatever it is stuck in my brain 10 years later?
Hi.
Why every time I record, she decides to lose her shit? FNAF's 10th anniversary was 2 weeks ago. Yes, you hear me. 10 years of FNAF. So we are hearkening back to a time. 2014, 2015. I think, now you have to know that some of this is fuzzy for me, because again, it was 10 years ago, and then also, around that time I was having a lot of mental health issues, so a lot of it is fuzzy. I recall slightly FNAF 2 coming out, so I believe I was at least very involved maybe towards the tail end of FNAF 1. So we're harkening back to this time of 2014, 2015, this Tumblr era, and while girls were out there being Tumblr girls, I was a FNAF girl and a Tumblr girl at the same time, and maybe we'll talk about Tumblr later on in this series. If you know anything about me, I want you to take a guess on how I got introduced to this series. 3, 2, 1. It was Markiplier. Of course it was Markiplier. Actually, I think this was like the first series of his I actually watched, so I think I got introduced to both of them at the same time. I know I said there wasn't going to be research, but I would like to read the Wikipedia definition for you. Five Nights at Freddy's, also known as FNAF, is a video game series and media franchise created by indie game developer Scott Cawthon. All these years later, I don't know if it's Cawthon or if it's Cawthon. I just want to say Cawthon because Cawthon is weird. If that's his actual last name, I apologize. The video game series follows a set of night guards and other characters as they try to survive from midnight to 6 a.m. for 5 levels called Nights, while fending off attacks from homicidal animatronic characters. Wow. Each game is set in a different location connected to a fictional family pizza restaurant franchise named Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Important people to know, okay? People. We have the 4 main animatronics: Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy. The main antagonist, William Afton, also referred to as Purple Guy, also referred to as Springtrap. Okay, those are all the same people. His partner, Henry. Henry Emily? Question mark? I don't know if it's Emily. I don't know. We have William's children: Elizabeth Afton, Michael Afton. Love Michael Afton. Well, actually, I don't know if we love Michael Afton, because we don't know if he's complicit, but I love Michael Afton, okay? Even if he's complicit, I still love him. Michael Afton and Crying Child. Side note, I just booked a tattoo appointment and a tattoo I've wanted to get for a really long time is a picture of these FNAF crying children. Now, these are the murdered children. But look at how cute they are. I actually only have one tattoo, and it's not even related to pop culture at all. But I feel like if I'm gonna get a pop culture tattoo, I get one of FNAF. Because, like, the lore between us is so deep, and I will get it somewhere where no one can see it. Listen, somehow, this is such a bad idea. If this video, even in the future, okay, I'm holding myself in the future, legally bound to this. If this video gets 100,000 views, I will get the FNAF ghost tattoo. I don't know where I will get it. Probably, like, here, so when I work my church jobs, no one has to see it. We're still unimportant people. Michael Afton, Crying Child, Elizabeth Afton. And they all become animatronics maybe at one point. The lore is ever changing because I don't think the game studios even know what the lore is themselves. The games that I might talk about, reference today, are FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, this is what they're all called, FNAF 4, Sister Location, Pizzeria Simulator, and Security Breach. Now, there's multiple VR games, there's multiple one-off games like FNAF World. Just recently for FNAF Week, Into the Pit came out. My favorite game is FNAF 4. The nightmare versions of all the animatronics. I distinctly remember when that came out, actually. I was just, wow. Fun fact also about me, every year, and I don't know if I've done it this year. I don't think I have. Somewhere around the holidays for some reason, but every year I go back and I rewatch all of Markiplier's original FNAF playthroughs, really until Pizzeria Simulator, and that's where I stopped, because those are the ones that give me nostalgia, you know? I remember the other ones too recently. Like, Security Breach came out 4 years? No way, it was 4 years. Are you actually serious? 2012. Almost 3 years ago? I first stumbled upon Markiplier and FNAF one day after middle school. I can't tell you what day it was. I can't tell you what exactly happened. I just know in my mind that that's what happened. I would like take naps, but I wouldn't actually like fall asleep. I would just like sit there and watch videos. One day, I stumbled upon Markiplier's playthrough of FNAF 1. I was immediately hooked. I was re-watching those videos. Actually, fun fact about me also is that you can put on a Markiplier FNAF video. I will be out like that. I've conditioned my mind and my brain so much that, like, if I were to lay in bed right now and turn off all the lights and put on a Markiplier video, I'd say I'd be asleep probably in like 20 minutes. Because I used to come home, and this just kept continuing. After I would watch it like a couple times, I would just come home and put them on as background noise, and that's how I would fall asleep and nap. Naps were my escapism at that point. If you know any lore about me specifically, I never played these video games. The first video game of FNAF that I played was FNAF 1, probably like 2 years ago. And my first stream actually was Sister Location. I had friends though that had it on their phone for some reason. I think that they like found it illegally, like through a website or whatever, and I would watch them play it, and it scared me literally so bad. The games kept releasing one after another, and I was fed more content. My life was going downhill, but FNAF was going uphill, and then suddenly it started going together, which was nice for me. Then I started becoming an adult, and FNAF was silent for a while, but then it came out with Security Breach, and then boom, it exploded again. The story of FNAF, in under 5 minutes with no research. I have watched every single game theory video on FNAF, probably multiple times. So if I can't get this slightly correct, I'm gonna be very upset. And I've written notes, and I haven't looked at them, and I wrote these notes like a week ago. We start out with the circus and a singing show. How that develops into animatronics, I can't tell you. However, William Afton, Henry Emily, just chilling, making animatronics that also have spring locks in them for some reason. So spring locks spring shut when they get activated, and they get activated like if there's like water and stuff like that, because they double as animatronics. And they're also suits. So the spring locks go in when they're in animatronic mode, and then they release when it can be in suit mode. Why would they do this and not make 2 costumes? Well, there wouldn't be a franchise, would there? Now, it's unclear if this happens before or after the kids get killed. Okay, so just, I'm aware. William's kid, the crying child, gets shoved into an animatronic by his older brother, Michael Afton, remember? He gets shoved into an animatronic because they tell him, go give Fredbear a kiss. And he goes to give Fredbear a kiss, and his frontal lobe is gone, okay? And that's the bite of 83.
Was that the bite of 87?
William vows to find a way to put his son back together. Then Bro spirals. He kills kids, including Henry's daughter. And then he shoves their bodies into animatronic suits. But then, once he does that, he realizes that their spirits inhabit the animatronics when he puts their bodies there. That's called remnant. And then he gets kicked out of his company. Presumably, maybe they found out that he was killing kids, or maybe he was just, I don't know. Anyways, he makes a new company. This is called Circus Babies. Circus Baby kills a second one of his kids because he designed that animatronic to kill. She becomes Baby. Elizabeth becomes Baby. After that happens, he goes back for some reason to where the kids' spirits are in Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. Corner him, and then to scare them, he puts on the spring Bonnie suit that he was using to kill them, and then it spring locks. And then he's just left to bleed out in like the back corner of Freddy's. But for some reason, he didn't die. He doesn't die. Okay, he always comes back. Michael tries to find out where he is, because Michael's been on this redemption arc. He feels bad about killing his brother. He goes around to all of his dad's places, and that's who you play as in the games, tries to find where his dad is, and he encounters all these haunted animatronics. Springtrap, for some reason, gets set free because they have like a haunted house at one of the old restaurants, and then Springtrap becomes free. Then he tries to kill everyone again. In Pizzeria Simulator, Michael works at the pizzeria. He gets Baby and Springtrap and himself and Henry there, and then Henry kills them all on a fire, and he delivers one of the most epic monologues, maybe the most epic monologue in the entire video game world. I'm gonna put a clip of it in, but I need you to listen to the whole thing.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent.
And then somewhere in between and after all of that, there's AI, evil AI, robot kids, FNAF movie, and a dead corpse being used as a body. I'm kind of lost on that part. That's my synopsis. MapHat, please rate that. I didn't really let a lot of people know that I liked Five Nights at Freddy's. The only people that knew were like my friends at the time, and it was kind of cool at that point because it was like a scary game, but my friends didn't know how deep I was in it, and that was fine with me. Why is FNAF important in my life? Why did I choose to cover it today? Why did I choose to talk about it with you guys? FNAF is important because it has been a constant in my life for about 10 years now. I went to college and Security Breach came out, and then I came home from college and the DLC came out. It has been here this entire time because I remember when I was in middle school and I would have a rough day at school and I'd come back, watch Markiplier play it, and then now when I had a rough day at college, I can come home and watch Markiplier play Into the Pit. Like, it's just such a nice comfort. Even though it's about homicidal animatronics and a murderer, I understand it's weird, but it just feels like a comfort in a less sentimental way. FNAF is just a really good franchise, in my opinion. They have really diversified. In my opinion, they've only had a couple missteps where it's like, oh, I don't know if that game was like the best. But really, they have been solid this entire time. I enjoyed Security Breach, buggy as it may be. I really did enjoy it, and I really did enjoy that time. So even if it's kind of like a failure, is it really? Because I enjoyed it. My thanks go out to Markiplier for introducing me to FNAF, and my thanks to FNAF for introducing me to Markiplier. Now, to end off our episode, edit corner. This edit actually made me like want to cry when I saw it, and I need you guys to see it. Don't cry. We're not crying. It really got me through a lot of really tough times in my life. I'd say 2021, when Security Breach released, and 2014 to 2015, when FNAF was having its original run. Those were the two toughest times of my life. And in the middle of that, I got to have a little bit of a reprieve by watching people play a game about murderous animatronics. It's just the weirdest thing. It really is. 21-year-old me now, and 11-year-old and 12-year-old me just love FNAF. I appreciate what Scott has done for not only my life, but the internet. It's crazy, and it has kicked off an insane amount of mascot and indie horror games that I really feel like couldn't have been inspired without the creation of FNAF. Now let's do a happy edit. Oh my god, this one makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
Freddy, please. Oh my god, no! Not like this. Not like this. Please. Give me in, give me in. Freddy! Freddy, you bitch!
Let me link this full video for you guys, because that one makes me laugh so hard. Why is this saved? Okay, where are we today? I just today, when I was having my lunch, was watching Game Theory's new episode on the fact that the Mimic was somehow in FNAF 2. So, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Tom's gone a little crazy, but sure. I haven't watched the last episode of Markiplier's playthrough of Into the Pit. And I don't know why I haven't done that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But everyone else I have caught up on, watched all the Into the Pit, watched all the FNAF content physically possible for FNAF week. Besides that, 100,000 views, and I will get a FNAF tattoo. If you're interested in learning more about Five Nights at Freddy's or watching funny Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, look at the description. I will give you lots of FNAF resources for your exploration, because Weird Kid Chronicles is not just for me as a weird kid, but it's also for you as a weird kid. Thank you for joining us for this first episode, and my dear remnant receiver, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye! That was like Markiplier if you didn't. I can see how that was kind of